I am now the director of human resources and people success for a really cool company called 10 Pearls. It's like 10 and pearls like the necklace.
Wow. Sounds fancy.
So fancy.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but I'm glad that you set the stage for what happened in between your finishing one job, moving on to 10 Pearls. So let's get into that. So this all happened during the pandemic.
Sure did.
What happened?
Yes. Oh, such a great question. Where do I begin? So I like to think about that quote, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
And I took my role so seriously. I mean, knowing that I was leading the HR efforts for a company that had more employees in person. It was a healthcare company. So we were dealing with COVID like crazy.
Yeah.
And then we were also dealing with an internal philosophical change in performance management. How are we going to measure performance moving forward? How do we get away from the antiquated performance appraisal system into more of a quarterly check-in, surveying employees? I mean, we were going through a lot of cultural change.
Right.
One of the reasons why I started to consider leaving is I had an HR business partner on my team, and I came from an HR business partner background. And I slowly started to realize that there was not a real value placed on that role or the need for it. And so I was having some philosophical, like ethical internal conversations around what does this look like for my role? You know, if there's not a value of this position that I find so value in the global HR operating model, what does this look like moving forward? And so I was asked to really reconsider what the resources on my team looked like. And I was starting to realize, oh no, they're wanting me to lessen and decrease and, compress. And my thoughts and my opinions around how to be a strategic HR organization are the opposite. So I was having these ethical conversations with myself around, when do we as HR professionals have to wear that hat and be the yes man and kind of push messages forward? And then when do we say, you know what? That doesn't align with my personal values or my personal beliefs or the way I view HR and how it should be run in an organization, and it's time for me to go. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason that I think I'm in a healthy enough place to really talk about, I think back then it was so challenging when I was deciding to leave because I was dealing with a lot of emotions around feeling like a failure or that I let my team down. And it was also one of those things where you don't really talk about all of the behind the scenes reasons why you leave a job. And that's really to protect your employees and to protect the integrity of the company. But a big part was burnout. And I know that so many HR professionals right now are really struggling with mental health and burnout and work-life balance. And we preach it to our employees, but we are the ones that are not walking the talk.
We are the worst. We so suck at self-care.
We suck at it.
Yep.
So that was really another piece of it where I was not, I always like to think about it as it is never 100% the company's fault, in my opinion. There were things I could have done. There were boundaries I could have set. There were things I could have done to mitigate it. But that's not who I am. I'm a 110% giver. I'm going to bend over backwards to help people. And so eventually it got to a place where I was like, I'm failing myself personally. My health is impacted. My sleep is impacted. I'm getting sick more often. And then also I feel like I'm letting down the company because I'm not able to be this high performer that I wanted to be because I can't get the strategic done because the day-to-day is really struggling to get done.